Turning to the Supreme Court, which has now added argument days and could finish its term in some very big cases this week. The major decisions are looming on issues ranging from abortion to federal agency powers, something that Republicans have been attacking, to social media rules and an opioid settlement. And then there's the case that justices seem to be trying to delay on purpose, the coup trial or presidential immunity for Donald Trump. It's been 60 days since the oral arguments in that case. The Supreme Court has basically been dragging its feet there, and delay could be an answer in and of itself because there won't be a trial in time. Now, Trump has said he should basically be immune overall, that there shouldn't be any federal trial of him related to trying to overthrow the election he lost on January 6th. You may recall this is the same case that got so much controversy when Trump's lawyers said in court that when tested, because if you say you have immunity for everything, that you couldn't be tried for anything, well, what about something that obviously is not a presidential power, like murdering Americans who oppose you? That was the issue which really kind of put this case on the map, where people said, yeah, they're not joking. Trump's lawyers in court claiming that power, that he could, they say, assassinate rivals. There's no law or protection for that in our Constitution, and many legal experts are worried about what the overall delay means.
A president can violate the American criminal law if he or she is doing something in their official capacity. That is an absurd and dangerous conclusion. And I'm worried, given the length of time that it has taken for the Supreme Court to decide this case, that something along those lines might come out of the Supreme Court.
That was Obama Attorney General Eric Holder speaking on that issue with our colleague Nicole Wallace. And with now 3 scheduled days left, by Friday, the court could finish what has been a bumpy term, to say the least, with the ethics scandals and the flag scandals and the apparent misdirection and lying. And it could ultimately show its cards if it waits till one of the very last days to do something in the Trump case that looks like a gift to Donald Trump rather than equal administration of the law. We're joined now by the nation's Elie Mystal. Welcome back.
What's up, Ari? You say bumpy. This court is more like an eyes wide shut party at this point, right? Like we have left decorum so far in the background, and now we're just waiting for the shouting to come out.
I appreciate a good reference like that. Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman, and your point, eyes wide shut parties, for those who've forgotten, had many elements, but one of them was the sort of secret use of power. And if you're an elite and you know the password, you have one world and everyone else has a different one. Elie, how do you brace for and look at these upcoming cases this week? Is it a matter of fine reading the Constitution and whether there can be a federal trial of a former president? Is it about applying text and law, or do you see something more political afoot?
Oh, it's yes, I see something more political afoot. I brace for it with, copious amounts of my liquor cabinet, right? Because when you say that it's been 60 days since the Supreme Court heard oral arguments in the Trump immunity case, you know as well as anybody else that that's the generous timeline here, right? Because Jack Smith initially asked the Supreme Court to make a ruling on this very issue on December 11th of 2023. All right. So we are long beyond the bounds at which we thought that we could get a decision on this critical issue facing the nation. But they didn't decide it on December 11th. They didn't decide it in a timely manner. Instead, this court is going to release a decision about whether or not Donald Trump is immune from prosecution, either the day before the presidential debate, the day of the presidential debate, or the day after the presidential debate, to step on the news cycle from the presidential debate. You can't get more political than that. It's not like the court doesn't understand how a calendar works, which is why I believe Trump has already won. Again, when I say we're just waiting for the shouting, Trump has already accomplished what he set out to accomplish with this ridiculous immunity argument. What he was trying to do was delay his trial until after the election. And now, no matter what the Supreme Court says on Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, that trial is now effectively delayed until after the election. They could completely reject his immunity claims. I don't think they are. They could completely reject them, though, and his trial will still be delayed until after the election. I still think the leader in the clubhouse is that they will remand the case back to the trial court, saying that Trump is immune from some actions, but not all actions. And who can know what actions they are? It's actually going to go through another hearing that has to be appealed to the D.C. Circuit and then appealed again to the Supreme Court. And maybe sometime this time next year, if Trump loses, we will get a decision that will allow a trial against Donald Trump for his actions on January 6th to take place. But that requires Trump losing at the ballot again. He has already won his key point, which was to be allowed to run for re-election before facing criminal charges for January 6th.
And just briefly then, when you look at the other Jan 6 case where they could leave or complicate the convictions of people who stormed the Capitol, what do you see there? That's the other one we're watching this week.
Yeah, I think that's a huge case, and I actually don't even know if all the liberals are on board for this one. So that might not be 6-3. I could see that being 7-2. The question is whether or not this obstruction charge, which was issued as a catch-all provision after the Enron debacle, can be applied to the terrorists who stormed the Capitol. And based on oral arguments, I'm not sure that the court's going to go for that either. And that means in the Trump context, even if they say that he's not immune from his crimes on January 6th, the court might say, well, he's not immune, but he also can't be prosecuted under this particular statute. Now, Jack Smith says he has other charges that would survive even if they lose the Enron case. But again, all of that counts as delay to get Trump through the election. And that's what this court is at this point. I would say they should be paid by Donald Trump, but we know that Donald Trump doesn't actually pay his lawyers. But they are on Team Trump. I mean, maybe Clarence will get a new RV from the Trump campaign when this is over, but the fix is already in here. And again, we're just kind of waiting to see, we're just trying to waiting for the shouting. We're just trying to wait to see if, is the decision written by Roberts or is it cross-stitched by Martha Ann Alito when it comes out on Wednesday or Thursday or Friday.
Hey there, MSNBC fans. I'm Luke Russert, and be sure to join me, Rachel Maddow, Jen Psaki, Lawrence O'Donnell, Steve Kornacki, Joy Reid, and many more September 7th in Brooklyn, MSNBC Live Democracy 2024. Click on the link for ticket information. We will see you there.